Right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Today we're going to uncover the hidden history of Pickering's waterfront. It's an incredible story, really. We're tracing its journey from an ancient indigenous travel corridor all the way to the highly desirable real estate and lifestyle hotspot it is today. Honestly, if you've ever walked these shores, you're going to be completely surprised by what actually used to be here. So let's start with a hook that absolutely sets the stage. You know Frenchman's Bay as this gorgeous open connection to Lake Ontario, right? Well, get this. It was originally completely closed off. Yeah, a landlocked bay. That is, until settlers in the mid-1800s literally, manually dug a channel straight through the sandbar. Talk about a game changer. That single act of engineering completely flipped the destiny of the entire region. Let's quickly map out this massive evolutionary timeline. We kick things off pre-1800s, when this was a vital indigenous corridor. Then there's that huge shift in the mid-1800s with the digging of the channel and the birth of Port Liverpool. After that, we transition into the 1920s. The Glenavis Pavilion sparks a massive leisure boom, which brings us right up to the modern recreation and lifestyle destination we all know today. So Part 1, the waterfront's early history, Indigenous Roots and Frenchman's Bay. Long before European settlement, these waterways weren't just pretty views to look at, they were literal lifelines. This was an absolutely vital travel, trade, and fishing corridor for the Seneca people of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. Now, as European settlers started arriving, the area naturally took on new names. And here's a fascinating, kind of mysterious piece of trivia for you. Frenchman's Bay is actually believed to be named after a French missionary from the 1600s named François de Salignac de la Motte Fenelon. But the funny thing is, historians still debate whether the guy ever even set foot on this specific bay. No way to know for sure, but either way, the name stuck and it's defined the area for centuries. Moving on to Part 2, the era of industry, Port Liverpool, and commercial trade. Okay, let's fast forward a bit to the 1840s. With that new channel dug right through the sandbar, the harbor completely transformed into this gritty, bustling hub for shipping. And here is a truly wild piece of history. Have you ever heard of stonehookers? This definitely wasn't your standard shipping operation. These were unique schooners specifically designed to literally mine stones right out of the shallow lake beds. Why, you ask? To transport them straight over to Toronto to help build the city's roads and construction projects. Frenchman's Bay was a massive operating point for this, and it was incredibly demanding, backbreaking manual labor. You've got to picture this. This was the absolute economic engine of the late 1800s and early 1900s. Alongside the stonehooking operations, you had heavy grain and lumber transportation, commercial fishing, and, something we almost never think about today, massive ice harvesting. I mean, before modern refrigeration, they built these giant ice houses right along the waterfront just to store huge blocks of ice. They'd cut them directly out of the frozen bay in winter to sell during the hot summer months. So yeah, it was a very gritty, hard-working waterfront. All right, on to Part 3, the shift to recreation, the leisure renaissance. So how exactly do we get from massive ice houses and stonehookers to the beautiful marinas we see today? Well, as railways rapidly expanded across Ontario in the early 20th century, the reliance on commercial shipping just plummeted. Now picture the roaring 20s. Cottages are suddenly popping up everywhere along the shoreline, especially on the East Shore sandbar. And right at the very center of it all was the Glen Avis Pavilion. This place was a legendary dance hall and entertainment venue. It didn't just draw the locals, it actually brought people all the way out from Toronto just to experience the waterfront nightlife. Looking at this really brilliantly illustrates an extreme evolutionary contrast. I mean, think about that historical economy for a second. Grain, lumber, ice harvesting, hard physical industrial labor. Now compare that to the modern lifestyle it eventually paved the way for. Walkable marinas, splash pads, scenic trails, relaxing patios. It's a complete 180-degree transformation of how we actually interact with the shoreline today. Which leads us to Part 4, modern attractions and lifestyle. Nature and community blended. Right at the heart of this modern transformation is Millennium Square, sitting perfectly beside Frenchman's Bay. It's totally designed for connection. You've got the splash pad for families, public art, and these great open gathering areas. Seriously, if you've ever been here on a summer evening, you know for a fact this is the lively spot for concerts, festivals, or just, taking in those incredible lake views. And literally just steps away from that is the nautical village surrounding Liverpool Road. What makes this area so incredibly successful is how it just flawlessly blends everyday community living with prime marina activity.
It's this completely walkable neighborhood where local businesses, amazing restaurants, and waterfront homes sit right alongside an active boating community. Without a doubt, it's one of Pickering's most recognizable lifestyle destinations.
Oh, and we definitely can't talk about modern attractions without mentioning the Petticoat Creek Conservation Area. We're talking gorgeous waterfront trails, a massive outdoor pool, and beautiful natural green spaces. Actually, for thousands of Greater Toronto Area residents, coming here is a strict summer tradition. It offers highly accessible outdoor recreation, but at the same time, it's doing the absolutely critical work of environmental conservation. All right, final section, part 5, real estate and the future, why buyers are flocking here. Let's break down exactly who is moving to these areas around Frenchman's Bay, Bay Ridges, and West Shore. The appeal here is just incredibly broad. You've got first-time buyers drawn to the walkable amenities. Downsizers? Well, they want that relaxed, lifestyle-focused community. Then you have investors who clearly see the GO Transit connectivity and the massive GTA growth. And those Toronto transplants, they are flocking here for the green space and direct waterfront access that they just can't easily get in the big city. It really hits that sweet spot, the ideal balance of urban accessibility and outdoor living.
But, for the people who actually live here day to day, the real appeal is found in the hidden gems. The lifestyle proves that the waterfront isn't just some tourist spot for weekenders. It's a deeply embedded, everyday lifestyle for locals. It's all about waking up for a quiet sunrise view along the shoreline trail, the seasonal bird watching, taking a paddleboard out right after work, or biking those scenic routes. That's the stuff that makes this community so incredibly sticky.
Now let's remind ourselves why all of this matters beyond just the nice views and the rising property values. As the quote says, it's not only historically important, it is also environmentally significant. Frenchman's Bay and the wetlands surrounding it are absolutely crucial habitats for birds, fish, and local wildlife. The health of this specific bay literally supports the broader watershed health of the entire Durham region. And because it's become so highly desired, the city of Pickering is actively stepping in. The city is putting a massive emphasis on protecting Frenchman's Bay from overdevelopment. In fact, they are actively pursuing public ownership opportunities to make sure this natural asset is preserved. It's all about maintaining public access and strict environmental stewardship for future generations. Which brings us to our final thought. As Durham Region inevitably continues to grow and the demand for this incredible lifestyle just surges, how does a city perfectly balance that rising real estate demand with preserving its historical and environmental heritage? It's a delicate balance, for sure, but truly understanding the incredible journey of Pickering to waterfront, well, that's the very first step in making sure its legacy survives for the next century.